Now let's move on to lists. Lists are very similar to string except that each element can be of any type. In strings, each element was a character, but in lists, each element can be of any type. So to define a list, we have to use square brackets. So if I write L1, L1 is our variable name. Then in a square bracket, if I write 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and run this, L1 is our list. To check, we'll write type L1. It is showing that the type of L1 character is list. To print all its value, we write print L1. And we are getting all the values that L1 is containing. Just like strings, we can also use the same slicing techniques to manipulate lists. So if I write L1 square bracket 0, this will give me element present at the 0th location, which is 1. So here 1 is at location 0, 2 is at location 1, 3 is at location 2, 4 at 3, and 5 at 4. Just like a string, I can use colon to select multiple elements. So if I write 0 colon 3, it will give me the first 3 elements. Here the location 3 is excluded, so I will get elements present at location 0, location 1, and location 2. 3 is excluded. Just like slicing in strings, we can also use steps. So if I write L1, now if I want to select all the elements, I will just write colon. Then I will write another colon. So first argument was for the starting location, second argument was for the stopping location, and the third argument is for the steps. We are not giving a starting and stopping location since we want all the elements. And now we are defining step as 2. So it will give me all the alternate elements of my list. So again, it is ignoring 2 and 4 since we provided step of 2. It is not necessary for list to have all the elements of same type. You can assign different types of element in a single list. So if I write L2 equal to square bracket 1 comma, if I want to provide a string, I will write in double quotation A comma, if I want to provide floating point numbers, I will write 1.0. And if I run this, my L2 is created, and the data type of my first element is int, second element is a string, and the third element is float. But we can assign all this in a single list as well. So if we want to check, we can check using the type operator. If we write type, now inside L2 I want the data type of first element, so I will write 0, and it is int because 1 is our int. Now if I write type L2 square bracket 1, which is string because our A is in double quotation and we have provided a string as a string. We write L2. Our L2 is a list, that's why if we just write type of L2, it will showing us list. We can also provide list as an element of another list. So if we write L3 equal to L2 comma 1 comma 2.0. If we run this command, So we have provided list L2 list inside L3. So if we print L3, here our first element is a list which is L2, and our second element is int and third element is float. So just to check, if we write type of L3 comma 0, this is showing us as list because we have provided L2 inside of L3. Now we have mentioned how to select the first element of L3. We can just write L3 and in bracket we can write 0. This will give us the first element. Now my first element is a list. So how to select first element of that list? We can write L3 in square bracket. I will first write 0. Right now I am accessing my first element, which is a list. Now if I want the second element of this list, I will write in square bracket 1. If I run this command, it will give us the character A. These types of lists are called nested lists because we have lists inside a list. Now you can also create lists using special functions such as range. So if I write list and in bracket I write range. In range I have to provide starting point, stopping point and the step. So if I provide 0 as my starting point, 10 as my stopping point and step as 2, and if I run this, range will provide me an output of 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and I am using list keyword to convert this output in the form of list. So we can create another variable L4 equal to list range 0 to 10 with step 2. Now if we print our variable L4, we can see 0 is our first element, 2, 4, 6 and then 8. If we want to sort it in the descending order, we'll write L4 dot sort. Sort is a function and the argument here is reverse equal to true. If we don't give this reverse equal to true, it will automatically sort it in the ascending order, but we want it in the descending order. That's why we are providing argument reverse equal to true. Now if we check L4, you can see it is sorted in the descending order. Our first element is 8, which is the largest, and the last element is 0, the smallest element. If we want to add more elements into our list, we can use append function. We'll write L4 dot append and in bracket we mention the variable. Here we are writing 10. This add the value 10 at the end of the list. As you can see, we have 10 at the end of the list. If we want to change value of any element, we can just write that element address. So L4 square bracket 0. This is our first element and we want the value of this element to be 3. So if we write equal to 3, it will automatically change the value of the first element to 3. So earlier it was 8, now the value is 3. If we want to change values of multiple elements, we can write L4. We want to change the value of second and third, so we'll write 1 colon 3. This means element second and third, since 3 is not included and 1 is included. And then in the square bracket, we can write the values. So for example, if we write 5 comma 7, Now we are replacing this 6 to 5 and this 4 to 7. We run this and you can see the values are now changed. In a way, we are providing another list to replace the elements of this list. Now, if we want to insert an element at a specific index, we'll do this by using a keyword insert. So if we write L4 insert and we want to insert this element at the first position, so we'll write 0 since 0 is our first position, and we'll write 15. So if we write 15 in double quotation, this means we are passing this element as a string. So let's do this. You can see we have inserted this 15 string at the first position. Now all my other elements are shifted by one space. Now if we want to remove element of this string, we can do this by using two commands. First is the remove function and the second is the delete function. Remove function will remove the value of that element. So for example, if I write remove bracket 3 L4 dot remove bracket 3, it will first search the elements which have the value 3. In that case, this is the second element, so it will delete this second element. If we run this, whereas if I am using delete, it will delete the position of that element. So for example, if we write del comma L4 and then I have to specify the location. So if I write 0, that means the first location will be deleted. So if we run this and again run L4, you can see 15 is now deleted. We are only 5, 7, 2, 0 and 10 are remaining. Now if you want to know more about lists, you can write help. Help is a keyword you can use anywhere. So you can write help and in bracket you can write list. And if you run this, you will get all the information about list. We are not going to discuss all here. And just a quick tip, if you want to remove your output, just select this cell, convert it to raw NB and then again convert it to code, and now your output is gone. So if you have some large output, you probably want to do this. Now let's move on to tuples. Tuples is another data type provided by Python. So tuples are just like list except that they cannot be modified once created. That's why we call them immutables. So tuples are immutables and a list is mutable. So to assign a tuple, we use parentheses. So for lists, we use square bracket. For tuples, we use parentheses. So if we write T1 equal to parenthesis 1 comma 2. So if you see, when we were outputting the lists, there were square bracket at the end and at the start, but for the tuples we have parentheses and we cannot change the values of these elements. So just to try, if we want to change the value of first element, we can write T1 then square bracket 0 equal to 5. Since this is a tuple, we will get an error while running this. So you can see the error is tuple object does not support item assignment. You cannot change the value of tuple once created. To get the type of this T1, type T1, you can see the type is tuple. there are very limited use cases of tuples, and we will hardly use tuples in our analysis. So let's move on to the next data type, which is dictionary. Dictionaries are also like lists, except that each element is a key value pair. And the syntax for assigning dictionaries is using curly brackets. In a list, we use square bracket. In tuple, we use parentheses. In dictionaries, we will use curly brackets. So in a list, there are indexes starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here you can say that you are assigning these indexes on your own. So for each element, you have to assign an index, which we call a key, and the element is called as value. That's why we define dictionaries as a collection of key value pairs. So to assign a variable d1, which is a dictionary, we'll write equal to curly brackets. Now here first we have to write the key 1, and then write colon and the value of this key, which is 1, comma key 2. So in a list there were indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This key 1, key 2, key 3 are just like indexes. If we run this, we write d1, run this, you can see in this we were only getting the values. In here we are getting first the keys and then the value. So if you want, you can see the type of this d1, right? Type d1, the type is dictionary. Now if I want to grab the first value, I will write d1, and in square bracket I will write key 1. If we run this, you can see for the key 1, we have a value of 1. In a list, we were directly using the indexes such as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. In dictionaries, we have to use these keys to get the value of that pair. So if I try to write like this, d1 square bracket 0, that is the first element, I will get an error. I always have to refer this value using the key of this value. So Python also supports conditional statements such as if, else, or else if, and it also supports loops such as for loop and while loop. We are not going to discuss this here. If you want, you can explore this on your own. If needed, we will discuss it in our upcoming lectures.